Hello there, this is Miss Ting. Today I'd like to work on the grade 4 packet. Okay, so if you happen to be able to pick up the packet from the school cafeteria yesterday, you should be able to find a few of these state test reading passages, okay, in the packet. So I wanted to maybe work on the short responses first, and then I'll probably go back to the multiple choice or the science, because I think that this year for 4th graders there will be science state tests if everything is going as the school's plan. Okay, so let's just do one step at a time. Okay, let's work on something. I think reading, regardless if there's a state test, we all need to read. Okay, and then just keep that reading going while we're at home. Okay, so I'm gonna work on the passage called Building the Longest, Tallest, Fastest Scream Machines. Okay, so the title says something about some kind of machine, right? So here we go. Your heart races, meaning that your heart is pumping really fast, okay? So you stood in line for hours to ride the new monster coasters. While you're waiting to go on to the biggest roller coaster, of course, your heart is going to beat really fast, right? So now you're being strapped in and warned to keep your hands and arms inside the car at all times. So they're once you get on, of course, they're going to put you in seat belts, and then they want you to keep your hands and arms inside, because if you put them outside, what if there's something along the way and you're going to get yourself caught in either tree branches or something. We never know what's going to be out there. Okay, so for the safety purpose, they want you to keep everything inside and then with you. So a thought crosses your mind as you're launched on of the station. How in the world do they build these monster machines? Okay, so basically the main idea of the first one is someone waiting to get onto a roller coaster and start asking the question why people build these gigantic roller coasters. Okay, so the beginning is to raise a question, okay, and to attract the readers to find out, right? Meaning that if there's a question, there got to be an answer, and the author is going to share with us what she thought about the possibility of why people build roller coasters, right? So that's the beginning. Okay, then there's a subtitle called The Design. So in this subtitle, in this heading, what we're going to learn is how people build and design, or how do they come up with the idea. Okay, design means the idea. So how do people come up with the ideas of the roller coasters? So here we go. I'm going to start with paragraph 2. Amusement parks don't make their own rides. They go to manufacturers, say Monty Jasper. He's in charge of coasters at Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio. It's his job to maintain the coasters they have and to work on new ones. So what does this mean? It's like everything that we purchase, okay? So when you go to a food market, okay, for example, you're buying a milk. That supermarket does not make the milk, okay? They purchase from a farm, or they purchase from a company, and then the company ship to the market, and then for the market to sell. Same thing, okay? Amusement park or these ride, pay for ride kind of carnival thing, they don't own the machines, okay? They don't own the rides, or they don't own the roller coasters. They actually buy them, from companies that make them, okay? So in paragraph 2, the author really wants us to understand the fact that amusement parks, they don't make their own rides, okay? They purchase from other people who make them, okay? So paragraph number 3. Sometimes an idea for a new coaster begins at the amusement park. Someone takes the idea to different building companies and asks them to come up with a design for the coaster. Then the park picks the design that works best for them. Other times, new coasters begin when the company has a design. Then that company goes to different parks and try to sell their design. Either way, okay, the builders and the park work together before construction begins. Okay, so for paragraph number 3, okay, the idea is, okay, I'm just going to go back to the food, okay, the supermarket example. Let's just say this supermarket, if you own a supermarket, okay, you're like, you know what, I think we need to make a flavor milk, okay? But then right now, the milk companies, they're not making, okay, I'm just gonna randomly make something up, like banana milk, okay? So if the supermarket thinks that banana milk is going to be popular for their customers, they probably wanted to go to a milk company, say, hey, can you make banana milk for us, okay? And then I'll buy them and sell them at my market, okay? So the idea actually comes from the supermarket, right? So that's one way. Or the milk company can say, hey, you know what? We can actually make some kind of like chocolate peanut butter milk. Ooh, that sounds a little not too good. Okay, but anyway, it's just an example, right? So if the milk companies come up with a new flavor idea of milk, so they probably will make them, and then they go to all these supermarkets and tell them that, hey, you know, I just recently came up with a chocolate peanut butter milk. Would you like to try sell at your markets? So for paragraph number 3, okay, they're trying to tell us that between amusement parks and the people who make the roller coasters, they can go both ways, okay? The new idea could come from both, and then they go across each other as well, okay? So that's the idea that the author wants you to learn from paragraph 3. Okay, so I'm going to go to paragraph 4. So roller coaster designs are based on several things. How high will the coaster be? What will the surroundings look like? How much does the park want to spend? Some coasters are designed to break records. The tallest, the steepest, the fastest, or the longest. Okay, so paragraph 4 is telling us that when people are thinking about a new roller coaster, there are a couple of things that they need to think, okay? Because you don't want to, see, just like if you want to make a project, okay? You don't want to make kind of like a baby project, right? Because what's the point? People are not going to be thrilled, right? So same thing as the roller coaster companies, you know, they have to think. So am I going to make you know, some of the best ones, right? You know, so that's why they're thinking that, okay, we need to break some kind of records. Okay, it can either be the tallest. Okay, the word steepest means that, okay, this is not steep. Okay, this is very mild. This very sharp upwards, it's called steep. So sometimes people are like, because it's almost like a perpendicular, okay? When you're going up perpendicular into the air, it is a very scary feeling, okay? So, or they really wanted to try if it can go really fast, or, you know, it's the time. Like, you know, typically roller coaster finish within like a minute or two. So maybe somebody wanted to, you know, make a really long one that can go for 5 minutes. Well, I don't know about 5 minutes. It sounds a little long, but you get the idea, okay? So people, when they're trying to make a new one, they're really trying to think that, can they just focus on one area and then be really, really good at it, okay? And then that would be their selling point, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to 5 and 6. Okay, so paragraph 5, it says, until recently, coasters could not be over 250 feet high because the chains that pull the cars on the coaster to the top of the first big hill weren't strong enough to lift the coaster higher than 250. So the chain, meaning that, okay, so I'll just, you know, like kind of draw a roller coaster, right? So if this is the car, okay, oh my God, well, you know, okay, this is not the first time I drew in front of you, so you get the idea, okay. So when you first get on the car, right, so this pulling has to do with some kind of downwards pull, right? So there, of course, the higher it's going to take longer to pull it down and then harder. So that's why they're saying that because of the chain, the coaster cannot be really high, because right now the chain cannot hold anything that's higher than 250. So it means that it's not because the companies who don't want to make tallest machine, it's because the chains just couldn't hold them. Pull them up and then you're going to drop down, right? Because can you imagine, like, if you go up and then the chain, something happened and you're going to drop back down. So that would be very, very dangerous, right? So companies wouldn't do that. So what do? So, but now coasters are made with cables. This is the key, okay? They change chains to cables. Cables are much stronger, okay? Not chains. So the new technology means that the sky is the limit for roller coaster high. So sky is the limit, is like, because of the new cables, you can go as high as if you can go up to the sky, right? Well, no, nobody's going to be able to make the coaster up into the sky, but that's the idea, okay? They're telling us that you can go high. So as of September 2008, the highest roller coaster in the world is in Kinda at Six Flags Great Adventures in Jackson, New Jersey. It just an amazing 456 feet into the sky. So it's really, really, really high up there, okay? It's like, typically if, a floor is about like 7 feet or 8, I just say 8 feet, okay? It's pretty tall. See? Oh my God, it's like 50 some floors. So it's super gigantic high, okay? So number 7, it starts to explain to us how the cable works, okay? So look, it says the cable lift works like an elevator. So it's like an elevator. It's able to pull you up. You don't have to use old chains, okay? And then what if the chain break, right? Because the chain is actually connected. There's a possibility that if this thing breaks, then it's very dangerous, right? The whole thing is gone. But cable is actually just one gigantic pipe thing, okay? So nothing is going to break in the middle. Okay, so they're saying that it works like an elevator. It is also steeper, smoother, and faster than a traditional chain lift. So the cable works perfectly, way better than the traditional kind of chain lift, right? Okay, so number 8. Here's how it works. The coaster car is hooked onto a constantly moving cable. So instead of like using the chain to pull the roller coaster up, it's actually one gigantic pipe. Okay, and then it just moved them up. So the cable pulls the coaster to the top of the structure at a speed of 22 feet per second. 22 feet is not as fast as car. It's like probably, let me think, maybe a bicycle, a pretty fast one, not the super slow one, okay? So that's about 50 miles per hour uphill. At the top, the hooks let go of the car and it speeds down the other side at 100 miles per hour. Okay, so basically it's telling us that once the elevator pulled you up, okay, they pull up, right? And then when you're up here, then it drops down really fast. 100 miles is like twice as fast as in typical cars, okay? So it's very fast. So here is the cable, okay? So they pull you up here and then they drop you, okay? So number 9, roller coaster cars don't have engines. They don't operate by machine like car, okay? Once they head downhill, the cars are on their own because you just drop down. It's like when you let go a bicycle downhill, it goes, right? You don't have to pedal. It actually goes pretty fast because the gravity is going to take over because everything goes down, right? Because today, if you have a pen in your hand and then you drop it, it goes down. If it goes up, then it's maybe time to run, okay? But so everything goes down. So the higher the hill, the more time gravity can pull on the car and the faster it goes, right? So if you bike to a decent hill, okay, and then you let go your bike, it's going to be pretty fast, right? And then sometimes it'll be scary to stop it. because of the gravity, because the higher you go, the faster you're just going to go down. So think of it this way, okay? If you ride a bike or a sled down from the top of the really big hill, right? Okay, you go faster and further than if you ride down a little hill, right? So it's really about like a big hill going this way, then going this way, right? You know, you can see the line's flat. Coasters work the same way. Okay, so they just want to tell us that the roller coaster is actually using the height of the coaster, okay, to go down. Not the machine, okay? It's not like a car. When you have a sports car compared to an old car, you know, it's faster the motor. No, it's not that, okay? It's about the height. So now we're gonna putting it together, okay? Paragraph 10. So roller coaster parts are shipped in 40-foot sections because that is the largest piece that will fit onto a truck. Says Jasper. The park then puts the pieces together when they arrive. A big new roller coaster costs about $25 million. Okay, it's gigantically expensive. Okay, it's super expensive. But of course, we know that amusement parks they stay open for like many years. So eventually, but it probably takes like 10-20 years, something like that. Okay, but you know, over here telling us that, so, you know, people are asking, wow, but roller coasters is so big. So how do they ship them? How do they transport from the factory to the amusement park? Here it says they actually break down into pieces, okay? Just like Lego. Before you build anything big at home, they come in pieces, right? You put them all together. Same thing with the roller coaster, okay? They make them into pieces and then they put them together once they get to the amusement park. Okay. So paragraph 11. So once the coaster is completed, the park maintenance crew goes over the whole thing closely to make sure everything is working the way it is supposed to work, okay, before the public is allowed to ride. So of course, the park maintenance people like who work at the amusement park, they will make sure the new roller coaster is working okay, right? Just like before you, let's just say for example, you put together a bicycle, okay? I'm pretty sure you know, is either your mom or your dad or, you know, try it out, make sure, you know, it's stable, right? Same thing. Amusement park, they will have people there just to make sure the new one is working okay, make sure, you know, before other people try it. So now the question is really asking us, so is it safe? A lot of people look at, you know, roller coaster to something very scary because, you know, because you hear all the screams at all time, okay? If you ever visit Coney Island, when you're down there and then maybe just eating an ice cream and then you hear all these like scary screams, right? I mean, yeah, they sound kind of scary. But is it really safe to ride on a roller coaster? So let's find out. Okay, 12. Very few people are hurt on roller coasters each year in the United States. In fact, it's much more dangerous to ride in a car to the amusement park than it is going screaming down the roller coaster. So they're telling us that actually taking a car, it's much more dangerous than going on a roller coaster. Because like I said, you know, a roller coaster, it's not going to move, okay? And then it's more like a gravity. It's more like riding a bicycle uphill and then downhill. Okay, but then it's just a bigger one, okay? So number 13. Computers control all parts of the roller coaster. These computers let the ride operators know of any problems with the cars or the tracks. Coasters make you feel like you're in danger, but don't actually put you in danger. So every roller coaster has a computer panel or a computer, kind of like a desktop, you know, like monitor thing that they actually connected to everything, every part of the roller coaster, and then it will signal anything that maybe is not going okay. Just like a car, okay? Whenever you know there's something wrong with the car, either the you know the pressure or the gas or the engine, it actually lights up. So same thing, okay? With today's technology, people are able to use computer to find out problems on their things much easier than before, okay? So the next section is called the Coaster Wars, okay? So what does that mean? You know, roller coaster, they don't fight each other. So we're going to find out. It's actually the amusement park they're fighting with each other, okay? It's just like car companies too, okay? I'm making the faster car, I'm making the biggest car, I'm making the strongest car, I'm making, people compete all the time. So same thing as amusement parks, okay? They're constantly battle to build a higher, faster, longer, and scarier roller coasters, right? So Cedar Point is in the middle of such a war. They're constantly looking for designs that are bigger and better than coasters that have already been built, okay? You could say that it's part of our identity, okay? So what does that mean? It's part of our identity. Meaning that if you are doing this for your business, okay? Of course, the only thing that for the roller coaster or for the amusement parks to stay competitive is to always find the best one, or always introduce, the either the fastest, whatever fastest, or whatever the easiest, machines, so that it will attract people, right? Just like Disney and just like any other amusement park. They need to have, like the indoor water park or the indoor skiing park, right? So these people, they keep on coming up with new ideas that attract people to go visit them, okay? And then that's what they do. So they just wanted to focus on what they can do best for what they're for, okay? So the very last sentence, coasters wars being bigger, better, more thrilling coaster to ride. Who doesn't want that? Okay, so how does that end it? So it's telling us that it's actually a good thing for amusement parks to keep on fighting with one another, because the better idea they come up with, meaning that we or the people will have some new things to try, right? Just like the indoor water park. I think before a number of years, they were, most of them are outdoor, right? But then now people started thinking, but summer is too hot outside, so if they can put one inside, then so people start making all these new ideas that, really, I think at the end we're gonna be the one that who benefit from their ideas. Okay, so here comes the first short response questions, okay? So why was switching from chains to cables in the building of roller coasters important? So remember, in the text, it actually says that because the cables are stronger, right? So because cable can actually pull up, okay, like to higher feet, right? And then it's not going to break as easy as the chains. So this is a new technology that actually really helps with the height of the roller coaster, okay? Number 2 is that it works as an elevator, right? Because it can just pull it up. Or let me just underline where the details are, okay? So maybe you can click pause and then just write them down, okay? So here, cables. This new technology means that the sky is the limit for roller coaster ride, right? Because now it can actually go up really high, okay? So that's 1. Number 2, see, the cable lift works like an elevator. So it's also steeper, smoother, and faster than the traditional. So these are the 2 great things about changing chains to cable to lift up the roller coaster. Okay, so that's number 40. Okay, I think number 41. So according to the article, why do some amusement parks continue to build new roller coasters? What factors do parks and builders consider when they design new roller coasters? Okay, so going back to the passage, okay, so take a moment to think. Why? Remember, I kind of talked about the reason why they wanted to keep on building the new one is because they want to attract people, right? Okay, and then also they that's what they do. Remember, like one of the roller coaster companies said that it's actually it's their identity. If you have an amusement park, of course, your job is to provide, the fastest, the longest, or the steepest machine whenever you can, right? So that's the reason why they have to keep on doing it, okay? And also, they wanted to win other amusement parks, right? That because in the text it says that there's a war among them. So that's what they do. Same as car companies. I think for every industry, there are always going to be competition. So you just have to stay on top of your game, right? Okay, so what factors do parks and builders consider when designing new roller coaster? So remember, about going back to the text, you can always go back and then, listen to my reading one more time. So the factors they need to think that is like, how high can this go? Remember, they always wanted to be like the best idea they could possibly be, because you don't want to copy someone else's, because people already have it, so people wouldn't come to yours. So they wanted to think that, how high can this go? How fast can this go? Is it going to be long, or is it going to be like, there are many things that they need to think, okay, so that they can make the best thrilling ride and then attract people to come, right? So these details are all given, okay? So go back to the passage, see if you can find the details, and if you like, you can share your ideas in the comments below, and I can read, and I'll give you some feedback on this long response. All right then. Okay, so this is one passage, okay? So I think for the other ones, you would do the same way, okay? Again, the best way, the best strategy for any kind of schoolwork is to do the work, really. I mean, just take your time, understand, and then if you don't understand, just always go back, okay? I mean, the best tool you can, or the best thing you can give it for yourself is to work on your understanding, okay? It's just a matter of time. Don't worry, trust me, okay? Eventually, everybody's going to get it. Really, it's just a matter of time, okay? So, take the time, go back, and try it again, okay? If you have any question or you don't understand any particular sentence, write me or leave in the comment below. Then let me explain, or let me try to explain to you in different ways. Let's just give it a try, okay? So have fun reading and doing the questions. I'll see you in the next one.